Welcome back to the Columbus School of Chinese here in Columbus, Ohio, and our show Ask a Chinese Teacher. Today's question that I will attempt to answer is, how do you say yes and no in Mandarin? This seems like a really valid, fair question, right? A lot of people might say, oh, I know how to say yes in Spanish, I know how to say no in Polish, things like that. If you've ever asked a Chinese teacher this question, you might have been a little confused by how vague the answer might be. The reason why it's vague is because it's actually not as simple and straightforward as yes and no in some other languages that we're more familiar with. So in doing research for this video today, there are a lot of videos trying to explain yes and no in Mandarin, some better than others. I'm going to do my best here today with first the following. To express yes, you want to restate the verb of the question. If you want to express no, you have to negate the verb of the question. All right, if that answers your question, awesome. Make sure you subscribe and come back and watch us all the time. If it doesn't, you're not alone. First thing we need to do to really answer this question, to address this problem, is to identify what a yes-no question looks like in the first place in Mandarin. Okay, so there are two basic ways to form a yes-no question in Mandarin. The first one is to add the sentence ending particle ma at the end of your statement. Ma takes any statement and turns it into a yes-no question. So let's take an example statement here. He likes to eat noodles. 他喜欢吃面条. So like I just mentioned, we're going to take that declarative statement and put a ma at the end. That is going to turn it into a yes-no question. Does he like to eat noodles or not? 他喜欢吃面条吗? To take another example real quick, you can speak Chinese. 你会说中文? You can speak Chinese. Let's turn that into, can you speak Chinese? 你会说中文吗? 你会说中文吗? Can you speak Chinese? Again, that sentence ending particle, ma, takes any declarative statement and turns it into a yes-no question. The second formation of a yes-no question that is also super common is what we like to call the X, bu, X structure, where X stands in for a verb. So you have a verb and a negation of that verb right next to each other. It's as if to give you two alternatives, yes or no, is or is not, can or cannot. 他是老师. He is a teacher. The verb 是 is our verb for this sentence. So if we wanted to change this into a yes-no question, is he a teacher? We could take 是 and negate it. 不是. Put them right next to each other. We now have a question phrase, a yes-no question phrase. 是不是? 他是不是老师? All right, so with that out of the way, we know what yes-no questions look like. We know how to form them. How do we answer? Again, to go back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to answer in the affirmative, we want to just repeat whatever the verb is. To answer in the negative, we negate the verb. Let's go back to one of our other examples. 他是不是老师? We get to choose between 是 or 不是. If he is a teacher, we could say 是. If he is not a teacher, we could say 不是. So there's our yes and our no. All right, let's take one final example using that ma sentence ending particle as opposed to our X bu X structure. So if you can remember back to a few minutes ago, we used the example 他喜欢吃面条吗? Does he like to eat noodles? So the verb we can state here is 喜欢. We have two options, 喜欢 or 不喜欢. Those are our yes and no for this particular sentence. 他喜欢, he does like them. Yes. 他不喜欢, he does not like them. So there is my explanation for how to say yes and no in Chinese. I know there's a ton of videos trying to answer this question out there. If you found this particularly helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and let us know. If there are any other burning questions you have, I'm always willing to help. And as always, thank you for watching.
说了个姑娘叫。